Welcome to Eko Learners Support for WAEC and NECO candidates. In today's lesson, you will learn phrases. Imagine if someone tells you under the table, what will come to your mind? Or if someone tells you inside the car or the tall man, you begin to wonder, what is this person talking about, isn't it? And that is exactly why we want to learn phrases today. Let's get started.
Eko Learners Support, a support program of the Lagos State Ministry of Basic and Secondary Education for WAEC and NECO candidates.
Our learning objectives. You'll be able to explain the meaning of phrase, types and examples of phrase. Then our focus will be on noun, phrase, and their functions in this lesson. In subsequent lessons, we'll be learning more phrases. As you can see, a phrase is a group of words which does not contain a finite verb. And the question, of course, will be, what is a finite verb? A finite verb marks for tense, number, and concord. Now, any verb that does not agree in terms of tense, number, or concord is called a finite verb. A phrase is a group of words that has the combination of closely related words but does not express a complete thought. Remember when I started this lesson, I said under the table. Does that express a complete thought? No, because you want to ask further questions. What is under the table? What are you talking about? Imagine I run into a room and say, under the tree, under the tree. People will be wondering, what is going on? What is under the tree? And that is exactly what phrase is all about, because it does not express a complete thought. And you have to question the speaker. What are you talking about? What is under the tree? What are you referring to? That is why it is called a phrase, because it does not express a complete thought. Now look at the examples. Under the table, the tall, handsome man with a broken leg. All these are examples of phrases. Why is it a phrase? Why is it called a phrase? It is called a phrase because all these, they do not express a complete thought. You have to question to get exactly what the person is talking about. So the person needs to provide additional information when he says under the table. You want to question the person, what is under the table? And that is when you can get a complete thought. So it is called a phrase because it does not express a complete thought. It lacks a finite verb. And I've told you what finite verb means, right? I said verbs that do not agree in terms of tense, in terms of concord. And remember what concord means? Agreement between a subject and a verb. Types of types of phrases. We have noun phrase, we have adjective phrase, we have adverbial phrase, we have prepositional phrase. Though we have other phrases, but for the purpose of this lesson and for the purpose of this class, our focus will be on noun phrase, adjective phrase, adverbial phrase, or prepositional phrase. Don't forget I told you that our focus in today's lesson will be on noun phrase. Now we're going to learn what exactly is noun phrase. How do you identify a noun phrase? Common questions that you will see under this particular topic in WAEC or NECO is, what is the grammatical name? What is the grammatical function? So how exactly would you be able to tell the grammatical name and the grammatical function of a noun phrase? How would you be able to know, oh, this is a noun phrase, the grammatical name is a noun phrase, the grammatical function is subject of the verb, object of the verb, complement of the subject. How would you know that? And that is why you need to pay close attention to this particular lesson. A noun phrase is a group of words that act as a noun. Any group of words that act as a noun is called a noun phrase. What is a noun? You have to go back to the foundation. What is a noun? A noun is what? Exactly. Now, what exactly are the functions of a noun? Still go back to the foundation. Foundation, what are the functions of noun? The moment you understand and you remember the functions of a noun, and you remember what a noun is, you will find it very easy to understand this particular topic. So if you have to go back to study on noun, you should do that. But let's go on. A noun phrase is a group of words that act as a noun. It may be a subject or object complement of a verb. So it can function as a subject, object, or subject complement, object complement, depending on the sentence. Look at this example. A blue car, a blue car. The principal, the most dreadful road accident, a terrible storm. All these are examples of noun phrase. Noun phrase because they have all these act as a noun. And why is it a phrase? Phrase because there is no finite verb, because it does not express a complete thought. You can't find a meaning to this word. A blue car doesn't make sense. The principal does not make complete, does not express a complete thought. So you won't know what the person is actually talking about. Now the structure of noun phrase. How do you know that this is a noun phrase? Or how can you form noun phrase on your own? Because by the time you know the structure of a noun phrase, you'll be able to identify the grammatical name. And once you know the grammatical name, of course, you should also know the grammatical function. Now, the first thing is this. If you are to form a noun phrase, these are the structure you can have. Determinants. I hope you remember determinants. Determinants. Those, these, that, all these are examples of determinants. So determinant plus a noun can make a noun phrase. Determinant and a noun can make a noun phrase. Those books, those determinants. Those is a determinant. Then noun, books. The two together becomes a noun phrase. Those book. Those book, that's a noun phrase. Look at another structure of a noun phrase. I'm telling you this so that you can identify a noun phrase when you see one. Pre-modifier plus noun. So when you have pre-modifier plus noun, you will get a noun phrase as well. So popular is a pre-modifier. Why is it called pre-modifier? It's modifying something like this. It is giving you more information about a noun. So that is called pre-modifier. Popular books. Popular books. This is also an example of a noun phrase. NP. Then we have determinant plus pre-modifier plus noun. Determinant plus pre-modifier plus noun. Determinant, I told you this, that, the, all these are examples of determinant. So some is an example of determinant. Pre-modifier, popular. Then what is noun? We've been using all this while books. So what we have right here is noun phrase. Pre-modifier, determinant plus pre-modifier plus a noun gives us noun phrase. I hope you're learning. Then let's go to the fourth one. I have noun plus post modifier. Noun plus post modifier. Post means after the noun. So books on English. Books, that's the noun. On English, that's a post modifier, modifying the book. So this is also an example of noun phrase. I hope you know the structure of a noun phrase, and when you see a noun phrase, you can recognize it using the structure. Let's proceed with the lesson. Then this is another this is another structure of a noun phrase. Determinant plus noun plus post modifier. We have some books on English language. some books on English language. Determinant, some. Noun, books. On English language, post modifier. Post modifier. Then the sixth one, pre-modifier plus noun plus post modifier. So what do we have there? We have popular, that's post modifier. Noun, books. Post modifier, on English language. So all of that makes what we have as forms what we have as noun phrase. We can now say popular books on English language is a noun phrase following this structure. We can also have determinant plus pre-modifier plus noun plus post modifier. So look at the determinant, some, right? Post, pre-modifier. Pre means before the noun. Popular. You know what modifier means, right? To modify something, that is to give it more details about it, to make it look different. Some popular books on English language. Some popular books on English language. On English language is post modifier. Now, when we look at this structure, what we have now is called noun phrase. Noun phrase. I hope you understand how noun phrases are formed with these examples now. Now, what are the functions of noun phrase? What are the functions of noun phrase? Don't forget I told you that if you remember the functions of a noun, of course, a noun phrase will function the same way your noun functions. So look at the examples. The first one, we have noun phrase as subject. A noun phrase can function as the subject. So now you will be asked questions like, what is the grammatical name? Then, what is the grammatical function? So the grammatical name of what we are doing right now, everything we're learning right now, is noun phrase. That's the grammatical name. Now the question is, what is the grammatical function? And that is what we'll be learning one after the other right now. The first one, I said, noun phrase can function as a subject. Subject of what? Subject of the verb. This occurs when a noun or noun phrase precedes the verb and in some situation is tied to the verb by an agreement of form. Look at the first example. A good boy. A good boy. This is a noun phrase. Now, what is a good boy doing in that sentence? A good boy is a subject of the verb. So what's the grammatical name? The grammatical name would be, it functions as a subject of the verb. What's the verb? Deserves. A good boy deserves favor. Look at the second example. The most dreadful road accident has happened. The most dreadful road accident. All this is, the grammatical name is what? Noun phrase. Why? There is no finite verb. The most dreadful road accident. That's a noun phrase. Now, what's the function of that? It serves, or it functions as a subject of the verb has happened. Let's look at the last example we have under noun phrase as subject. A terrible storm is forecast. A terrible storm is forecast. Now, a terrible storm is a noun phrase. It's a noun phrase. And what is it doing? What is it doing in that sentence? It's the subject of the verb forecast. I hope you understand that. So a noun phrase can function as a subject of the verb. Let's look at another function of the noun phrase. Noun phrase can function as the direct object. As the direct object, which is also known as DO. Which is also known as DO. A noun phrase follows a transitive verb. You know what a transitive verb are? Verbs that takes objects. Okoro bought the book. Okoro bought the book. Okoro is what? Okoro is a subject. Bought is the object, is the verb. Then the book is the object. So in this case, the noun phrase, the book, functions as the object of the direct verb. So it functions as the object of the direct verb. Now we have some interesting new neighbors. We have some interesting new neighbors. In that sentence, we is a subject. Some interesting new neighbors is the object. So in this case, it functions as the object of the verb. It functions as the object of the verb. I met a very charming woman at the party. What is the subject? I. Don't forget what a subject means. The doer of an action, then the object is the receiver. Who is receiving the action? A very charming woman. So I met a very... Now in this sentence, the grammatical function is the grammatical name is noun phrase, and it functions as the object of the verb met. Object of the verb met. I hope you understand that. Then a noun phrase can also function as indirect objects. Indirect objects in a case where we have two objects. When we have two objects, if two nouns follow a transitive verb, one denoting the receiver and the other what was received. The first receiver is an indirect object. The first receiver of the action is an indirect object. Remember that an object is the receiver of an action. So sometimes you can have two objects in a sentence. So the first receiver of that action is called indirect object. Indirect object. Examples. He told Olu Brown the story. He told the story. It makes sense that way. He told Olu Brown. Makes sense that way too. But in this case, we have a noun phrase functioning as the indirect object. So remember, we started with direct objects. It can also function as indirect object. He told Olu Brown. Olu Brown is the what? The indirect object. The direct object is the story, because what was told was the story. He gave the committee the report. He gave the committee the report. What was given to the committee? Report. So the committee is the indirect object, not the actual object that is being addressed by the verb. So a noun phrase here is functioning as the object that is functioning as the indirect object of the verb. A noun phrase can also function as the object complement. If a transitive verb is followed by two nouns, one indicating what was affected or altered, and the other indicating the result of the alteration, it is an object complement. Object complement. That is, it's complementing the object, giving us more information about the object. That is object complement. Complementing it, giving us more information about the object. We elected Femi a prefect. We elected Femi a prefect. Now in this case, Femi is the object, but a prefect is complementing Femi. So in this case, if this is underlined, the grammatical name is noun phrase. It functions as a object complement because it is complementing Femi. Many of us consider her the best. Many of us consider her the best. Who has been considered as the best? Ah. So which means A is a receiver of the action. And in that case, what is complementing A? The best. So the best is object complement, complementing these objects. I hope you understand that. Many of us consider are the best. So are in this case is object and the best is complementing her. So the grammatical function is complement, or the noun phrase is object complement. Object complement because it is complementing this particular object right here. Let's move on to the next. Noun phrase as subject complement. We talked about the object complement. Now subject complement. A single noun occurring to the right of the verb and referring to the person or thing as a subject is a subject complement. Look at this sentence. Aruna is a teacher. Aruna, who is a teacher? Aruna, which is the subject of the sentence, right? So Aruna is a subject, but what is complementing Aruna, or what is giving us more information about Aruna, is a teacher. So a teacher in that sentence is a noun phrase, and it functions as the subject complement. Shegun became a doctor. Who became a doctor? Shegun. Shegun is a subject. A doctor is complementing, giving us more information about Shegun. So hence, the function of a doctor in that sentence is subject complement. I hope you're learning. Noun phrase can also function as object of preposition. Object of preposition. A single noun linked to some other element in a sentence by means of a preposition. For instance, in, on, to, from, by, of, under, and immediately followed the preposition is the object of that preposition. Immediately followed is what? The object of that preposition. So when you see all these examples, all these preposition mentioned, the noun that follows immediately is called object of the preposition. Look at the example. The trader brought his money to the bank. The trader brought the money to the bank. So in this part, we have the preposition, and the noun phrase that follows immediately is referred to as object of the preposition because of this preposition, right? So it is object of the preposition. The box of chocolate is intended for your children. In that sentence, for is a preposition, and it is followed immediately by a noun phrase, your children. So it functions, in other words, it functions as the object complement because of this preposition. So your children is a noun phrase, and it functions as object of the preposition. Noun phrase can also function as appositives, and that will be our last function of a noun before we go to our questions. If two nouns occur together and the second could substitute for the first, the second is called an appositive. Examples. Now, what does that mean? It means that this particular one and this one is this president is referring to the same person. Two nouns, Dr. Goodluck, the president. The president is still referring to Dr. Goodluck. So in that case, it is called appositive. This is appositive. So a noun phrase can function as an appositive because this other noun is referring to the same person, which is a subject of the sentence, Dr. Goodluck, the president. Dr. Goodluck, the president, visits Enugu. Ajayi, the driver, is reliable. So when you see sentences like this, and when you see this type of noun phrase and is underlined, it is called appositive. noun phrase functioning as an appositive. Now it's time for evaluation. I hope you've learned something. You've learned a lot. So it's time to put what you have learned into practice. The first question, what is a noun phrase? Hope you remember what a noun phrase is. And remember I told you what an infinite verb is. Then state 5 functions of noun phrase in a sentence. Do you remember the functions that I've listed? Number 2, identify the grammatical names and their function in the following sentences. The headmaster announced the holiday in a loud voice. She gave a box of chocolate to her children. She gave a box of chocolates to her children. Can you identify the grammatical name in the first one? Go ahead. All right, let's do this together. The headmaster announced the holiday in a loud voice. So the grammatical name is what? Yes, you're right. Noun phrase. Then what is the grammatical function? The grammatical function in this particular sentence is it functions, yes, it functions as the subject of the verb announced. I hope you understand that. Then the second question, she gave a box of chocolate to her children. Who received the box of chocolate? Don't forget, I said when you have to, what does that mean? Do you remember? I said it's a preposition, right? And because it's a preposition, you should look at this as object. So it functions as the object of the preposition. Object of the preposition. So this is also a noun phrase and it functions as the object of the preposition. I hope you've learned something important and you put it into practice.
Eko Learners Support, a support program of the Lagos State Ministry of Basic and Secondary Education for WAEC and NECO candidates.
If you have any question or you have a feedback or comment, please go ahead and drop them on our social media handle, and I will see you some other time. Goodbye.
Acing your WAEC and NECO examinations has been made easy by the Lagos State Ministry of Basic and Secondary Education with the Eko Learners Support for WAEC and NECO candidates television program. Join seasoned teachers as they take you through these core subjects: mathematics, English language, physics, chemistry, and biology, targeting the exact syllabus of WAEC and NECO. Watch Eko Learners Support for WAEC and NECO candidates on this station. Learners can also connect with Eko Learners Support for WAEC and NECO candidates through these social media platforms to access more educational content and give their feedback. Eko Learners Support for WAEC and NECO candidates. Pass your examinations with flying colors.